Saturday.
Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome into Small Business Saturdays. My name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at oursuccessgroup.com. So I'm excited to be here this morning on a beautiful Saturday morning. And this is actually for a lot of other people, even though we have every Saturday as Small Business Saturday. This is the big Small Business Saturday. This is the day that we encourage people to shop local and hopefully really get things moving for small businesses if you're not already heading in that direction. So hopefully you are really taking advantage of that and being loud today, reaching out to everybody that you can and letting them know what you do and how you do it. So let me know what you guys have going on out there, what's working for you, or what's, what do you need help with or anything like that. I'm excited to hear what you're doing for Small Business Saturday. But today I want to talk about gratitude, and we want to talk about the benefits that having gratitude can bring to our business. And so when we start talking about gratitude, obviously the timing of today, for those catching the live version here, the timing of today is just a couple days removed from Thanksgiving here in the United States. And the Thanksgiving holiday is an opportunity to spend some time with family and friends, but also to just remember the things that we're grateful for, the things that we're thankful for, and which brings us a much more positive attitude. Maybe there's a little stress going into the holidays. So for me, Thanksgiving is always just a great way to kind of regroup, say, okay, it's time for the fourth quarter. We've got holidays coming up. I want to make sure, everything's great. And so some gratitude can go a long way for that. Now, the flip side of this is that we don't want to just do this once a year. Gratitude is something that we can and should practice year round. So that's what I want to talk about today is how do we take gratitude and then just put it into our business and make it a part of who we are as a company and kind of go from there. So excuse me, study after study has shown that gratitude helps people become healthier, happier, and ultimately more successful. When you're healthier and happier, you're more successful. And it can also impact our businesses in the same way. If your business has that attitude of gratitude that just is associated with it, you're going to attract more people, right? You attract more with sugar. that kind of idea there is it's that positive outlook that you have. And when you can do that inside of your business, other people will want to be a part of that, and they'll want to be a customer, and they'll want to be a supporter, and they'll want to share with others, because that's what we're looking for in the world, ways that we can be happy and grateful. So let's talk about some of the things that gratitude does for us. And then we'll get into some ways that we can actually put gratitude to work inside of our business. My goal for the day is to keep it nice and short, but if you guys have things that you want to bring up and talk about, happy to do that as well. Now, we talked about the fact that study after study has shown that gratitude does improve lots of things, health, happiness, and then ultimately success. And gratitude also inspires a pro-social behavior. That is behavior intended to benefit others. And ultimately, what that leads to is when we have that behavior that is intended to benefit others, that pro-social behavior, when you have that as your lead, what you're putting out there into the world, that is going to make for a much improved customer experience, even if you've done nothing physically to change the customer experience. Like when I say physically, changing the website or, making this tweak or doing this thing in your process or whatever. If all you do is just change to having gratitude for the person on the other end of the phone or the other end of that email and just leading with that, then the experience for them is going to be markedly improved. And so with that being said, that's going to change your customer experience without having to do any heavy lifting at all, other than just being grateful for the person on the other side. All right. So let me check a comment here real quick. Good. Good morning. Thankful for you and OSG. Heard a devotion this morning where they spoke of gratitude as being proven as necessary and effective to good health as diet, exercise, and sleep. Absolutely. So that's a perfect lead in for me into my next point here that gratitude also improves your health. People with a positive mental attitude have been shown to have a healthier heart, and then you sleep better, right? So, good health, diet, exercise, sleep, all of those things are important. But if you start with gratitude, you actually get better sleep, you have better health, and so having that attitude of gratitude, so to speak, or being thankful for the things that you have, regardless of your situation, right? I know that not everything's always rainbows and ponies, and we can't just fake it all the time. But if we do lead with that and always try to find something that we're grateful for, and when we talk about finding something that we're grateful for, I'm not just saying something that you're grateful for as a kind of snide remark to the other terrible things that could be happening, right? Well, at least it's not this. That's not gratitude. That's just being snarky and sarcastic. And I get it, right? I get into that too. But real gratitude is actually being genuinely grateful for what you're experiencing right then and there. So I'm grateful just to have this opportunity to talk into the camera to you guys that are taking your time to spend, 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes with me on Saturday mornings, right? So that's true gratitude. So when when we have that, we're going to be healthier and we're going to sleep better and all that other stuff. Now, I get it that not all of us are naturally positive. This is something that I've cultivated over a period of years. I was very fortunate to end up with a wife that is naturally grateful and positive, and so she's really taught me a lot about how I can improve the way I carry myself. And so it's okay though if you're not naturally that positive person. You have a little bit of that. The sky is falling, or like I said, that sarcastic snark to you, and that's okay, right? But the good news is that if we can adopt a gratitude practice, it can improve our health, our sleep quality, and our overall well-being, which will in turn improve our business, right? When we have more energy, when we feel better, when we are a bit more positive, our business is just going to get better. Like I said, people are always looking for this magic bullet. They ask me questions like, well, how can I improve my business? How can I do this? And really, at the end of the day, there are some of these so simple opportunities for us to make improvements to our business that they seem so simple that we're like, no, there's no way, no chance that that's going to work. But absolutely 100% it works for people each and every day. And so when we practice that gratitude, it's going to improve everything around us, including our business. And then you don't need a magic bullet, right? You just live that way, and things get better. So when we are working on that, the gratitude can really turn things around for us. Actually, a recent study showed a decreased heart disease risk in patients who regularly journaled about two or three things they were grateful for. That's it. Two or three things. Sorry, I can't do three. Two or three things that they were grateful for. And what's even better is these results were actually seen after only 2 months of journaling. So that's 60 days approximately, right? So they saw marked improvements in these studies. So as we can tell, there's lots of great benefits to gratitude, not only in our business, but personally, and then vice versa, right? We think about this as like, okay, well, this is mindset stuff, Aaron. This is how I improve myself. Well, guess what? Your business is you. All right. There's no demarcation between that. If you're a business owner, your business is you. It's just an extension of you at a level where you're actually selling a product or service. So when we make these improvements, there's lots of benefits to it. So how do we do it? Right? What's the best way? We talked about a couple things already, but really at the end of the day, there are 3 stages to improving our gratitude. There's three practices that we need to do. And again, these practices are so simple that people look at it and go, well, it can't be, right? This can't be this way because it's just so simple. Well, the truth of the matter is it's the simple things that are really hard to do because they do seem so simple and we don't see immediate, like instantaneous results. It's so simple that it takes time to begin to build up until one day you just kind of open your eyes and go, wow, that actually worked. But that time, that persistence to do it on a daily basis is what's important. So here are the three stages of gratitude, really. First and foremost, we just have to recognize what you're grateful for. We have to understand that even the smallest thing, I'm grateful to have this coffee cup that has tea in it. All right. Just recognizing the fact that I'm grateful to have this space to be able to do this. I'm grateful that the sun is shining or the snow is blowing or the rain is falling. All of these natural things that at the end of the day, while we might not want a bunch of snow right now, or we might not want a ton of heat in the middle of summer, we need that stuff to survive. That's all part of our world's ecosystem. So you have to recognize everything that you're grateful for. So that's the first step. Second step is we have to acknowledge it. Like I said, most of the time I see people struggling with this because they want to do things like say, well, at least it's not this. That's not acknowledging that. That's just kind of, you're still focusing on the negative. You're not actually acknowledging what you're grateful for. So to actually acknowledge it, you just need to say, okay, this is the thing I'm grateful for. And I'm acknowledging that I'm grateful for that. And not because of it's better than the alternative. It's because I'm grateful for that specific thing happening. All right. So that's the second stage. And then the third stage of gratitude is actually appreciating it. It's getting it inside of your soul and saying, yes, I am appreciative of this. You'll know it when you start appreciating it because you'll feel it. I mean, we physically feel it. I physically feel it. I can kind of sense this like tingling, and everything kind of gets a little bit brighter when I've truly appreciated something that I'm grateful for. So those are the three stages. And we've talked about this being a practice. And so it's called a gratitude practice for a reason, because it does take practice, right? Like I said, it's so simple that we can't see the results right away. We have to practice it and build it up over time. So if it's something that you're not naturally prone to, it is a habit that's well worth cultivating. And even if you are a little bit more prone to that, it is a habit that's worth making into something that you're developing, right? And it's something that we work on. I mentioned that I was really fortunate to have my wife come into my life and help show me how to have more of that positive mental attitude and be more grateful for things. And I imagine my sarcastic, my always trying to solve the problem nature has maybe worn on her a little bit, right? So she's got to go back in and redevelop at times and make sure that there is plenty of gratitude in her world and in her life. And so all it takes is a few tweaks of our daily routine, and then you and your business can enjoy all of those benefits that we talked about earlier. So how do we do that, right? What are the tweaks that we can do? Well, there's about 4 items here that I would suggest as tweaks into your daily system here. And again, you're going to hear these things. And as I was kind of putting these things together and looking at it and going to studies and all the different things that I've learned, I'm like, gosh, this is really difficult to get through to people because it is so simple. It's so incredibly simple that it's hard to believe. And it's also, again, you're not going to see like results today. You go, oh, it's, it was Thanksgiving. I was so grateful all day Thanksgiving. And now today the world is terrible again. Right. It just doesn't work like that. It has to be a persistent, constant thing that is worked on and improved and tweaked until you have this process in place. So let's just go through them and we'll see what we get to. And maybe we'll have what we need here to get off and reap the benefits of gratitude in our business. So the first thing we have to do is we have to look for it. We have to make sure that we are understanding that there is something we can be grateful for in every experience. It may not be happening right then and there in that moment, but ultimately there's something that we either learn, that we gain, that we are able to take from every single experience. And so you have to look for it. And one of the best ways to just look for it is to make it an intentional, set a reminder on your phone that twice a day, an alarm goes off, and that's when you look for gratitude, and you just stop in the moment, whatever is going on. And you say, what am I grateful for right now in this very moment? Do it in the morning, do it in the evening. I myself like to write down, depending on where I'm at, I have a 5 things that I typically write down in the morning, and then another 5 things that I like to write down in the evening as just, and they're little things at times. It's not, oh my gosh, my world is so great all the time. There is some of that, right? But, I'm grateful that my dog loves me and wiggles her tail whenever she sees me, right? The small things like that. I'm grateful for my son, my wife, my older son, my parents, all of these things that I can just pick out. And it doesn't have to be, I just the other day I was going through that in the morning while I was sipping on my tea. And I thought, man, I'm really grateful for this tea. It really just kind of gets me going in the morning. It makes me feel like, hey, I'm taking care of myself and going from there. So that's the first thing. We need to look for it. The second thing that we need to do with gratitude here is we need to act on it. Right. So if we're starting to look for it, so that gets our antennas up a little bit and we're looking for these opportunities to be grateful. But if we then act on it, that's going to be even better. And that's going to solidify this and make more benefits for you. Because when you've got those antennas up and you're looking for opportunities to then express the gratitude, you start looking for that in every interaction. So when you start thinking about ways to act on it, aim to be very specific with how you act on it. So you answer the phone instead of, and then when you answer the phone and you say, hey, thanks for calling, maybe you can up the ante a little bit. Maybe you can be a little more specific about that and say, hey, thanks for calling. And we really appreciate you supporting our business with that most recent gift order. How did grandma like it? Right. Or something like that. So getting very specific and really truly acting on that, or maybe something like, thank you so much for taking the time to share your feedback on how we resolve the issue over the damaged mug or whatever. So the second part there is act on it and just keep those antennas up for the gratitude, but then making sure that not only do you say, yes, I'm grateful for this tea, but then act upon it, right? How do I go? Yeah, I'm grateful for this tea because of the way it can improve my body. I drink hibiscus tea every day to help reduce my blood pressure. And, who knows actually if it's working? I mean, I do know that it's working because I check my blood pressure, but who knows if it's actually the tea or the gratitude that I get from that. And I don't think there's a way to tell the difference. Maybe there is, but I don't really care as long as it's working. All right. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is write about it. When you put pen to paper, it sets those feelings, those experiences, it sets them in your brain. When you've got to translate from what's up here to out here, that's one thing. But when you got to translate from what's up here all the way down into here to then be able to write those things down, it really does a number on our brain in a very positive way. It starts making those connections, and it makes the connection with, hey, this thing happened. I'm specific about it. I'm writing it down. And when I'm specific about it, now your brain goes, okay, now I'm going to look for these positive opportunities because that brought me some success, right? Or that brought me this thing that I'm grateful for. And now we're starting to think about the things in our world, in our lives, in our business that we're thankful for. So I would suggest maybe carrying a journal or a notebook or something like that. At the very minimum, like I said, having an opportunity to write down what you're grateful for a couple times a day. So write about it. And then the last thing here, last but not least, is we need to systematize it, right? We need to add a process for it. So kind of like all things in our business, the more we can make it a process, the more we can make it a part of the way that our business operates, the easier it'll become, right? And so again, like everything, once we start doing something that's a regular part of our business, if we can get that down on paper, we can make it a process. So we can make it just, this is just part of what we do. Then it becomes so much easier, and it also becomes better because now you're thinking through the entire process and you can tweak the process and make it easier and just make it flow a little bit more. So you want to try to add some gratitude, I would call them checkpoints or ways to check in with your customers along the way into your process. So for example, you might make it a standard practice to send your customers a handwritten note on the anniversary of when they started doing business with you, right? And that could go a long way. And in that handwritten note, you're writing all the things that you're grateful for, how easy they are to work with, how much joy you get from being able to create these gifts for them, how grateful you are to be part of whatever charity or activity that they're a part of. So if you're maybe doing shirts for a race that's a benefit, a 5K race that's benefiting breast cancer research or something along those lines, you can be grateful for being a part of that experience. And then other examples here might be, just surprise handwritten note birthday cards for them, or maybe quarterly you're reaching out to all of your core customers, all of your ideal customers, that top 20% of your business, and you're finding something from the community that they were a part of, or you're holding on to newspaper clippings or printing off things from websites or things like that has to do with them, and you're sending them quarterly a packet like, hey, congratulations on this, I see that you did this last month, and wow, that's really impressive, I'm so grateful to know you as a customer. Right, so there you go. We're going to look for it, we're going to act on it, we're going to write about it, and then we're going to systematize it. We're going to make it a process inside of our business. All right. So quick, short, easy, hopefully very helpful. In fact, I'm going to get rid of the hopefully word there. And I know it's very helpful because I know that this is an important part of everything that we can do in our business. And I know, like I said, some of this stuff just seems like, oh my gosh, Aaron, this is like a little too wooey or out there. I need something that's going to fix my business right now. Well, guess what? It will fix your business right now. You just won't see it until you practice it over times. So start thinking about ways that you can be grateful for the people that you get to work with. Be grateful for your vendors. Be grateful for the people that provide you support. Be grateful for the negative review you got, because it allowed you to then understand what might have been broken inside of your process that you didn't see. Right. So there's all sorts of things that we can be grateful for, but you have to actually truly experience it. And you actually have to be truly grateful for it. Again, it's not about, well, it's just this instead of this negative thing that could be happening. Right. That's not gratitude. That's just, again, being sarcastic and snarky. And while every once in a while we need that, right, we need to get that out of our system. Our default mode needs to be just normal, everyday, good old-fashioned gratitude. All right. So that's what I got for you guys today. Hopefully you have a great Saturday. Things are going really well for you here. And I'm looking forward to catching up with everybody again next Saturday, working on the topic for next week. So if you do have suggestions or anything that you need help with specifically that I can share with you on Small Business Saturdays here, if you'll go to success@oursuccessgroup.com and use that as the email address to reach out to me and just give me suggestions. What can we help with? What is holding you back right now? What are the areas that we can provide actionable resources that will get you to your idea of success? All right. So hopefully everybody's having a great Saturday. Make it awesome. Be grateful for something. I'm super grateful for all of you that take the time to spend, 24 minutes today. So I didn't even take up a ton of your time today, but hopefully, stop, got to get rid of hopefully. But I know that there are some very actionable resources right here for you. So that's what I've got for everybody today. Thank you so much for being here. And we will look forward to talking to you again next Saturday.